3000.
What is doing? My name is Maloney. This is the 3000 podcast. I'm joined today by a guy who does you wear a few different hats, man.
Yeah.
You are an artist musically, you're a visual artist, and you're an interesting cat. Plire, thanks for coming, man.
How are you, brother? Pleasure to be here.
We live in sunny Melbourne, and you're saying that you experienced all different kinds of weather on the way, man.
Yeah.
3 or 4 seasons in one day.
Cloudy. And then the sun came out, bro. It was actually real nice. It's getting a bit of a suntan going on, you know?
And now it's pissing down.
Now it's pissing down. Yeah.
That's Melbourne for you. All right. Now, I know you're an interesting dude, and you've got, for a young guy, you've got quite a lot to talk about. So let's jump in. Whereabouts did you grow up, and how did you get to be the young individual you are today in this hip-hop scene?
So, I was actually born in New Zealand, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I think I moved to Australia 2008. I was about 10.
Yep.
And I lived with my mom. I actually went to a school in Edithvale.
Yep.
Like too nice school for me, you know, especially the background that I come from. But yeah, I went to school for a bit there, and then I kind of fell off the rails a little bit, bro. Went through the system, DHS and stuff, so I was all over the joint as a youngin'. But I met Jace when I was maybe 13 or 14. I used to go into Obese Records, the store in Greville Street. I used to go there and buy a lot of paint. And I took him a few times to work up the courage, but he hit me up and he said, you know, like, try to figure out a bit about me out, what I do with myself, how I'm spending so much money on paint. Because I used to go there, bro, and sometimes I'd buy nearly the whole store, like the whole setup of lax or whatever I was buying.
I've heard this from someone else who worked there.
Yeah, true.
Someone's told me that you used to go in there with a few of your boys and you'd be like, yeah, it's on me.
Yeah, I'll just buy the lot, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, which is crazy. That's why Jace hit me up and he's like, you seem like you're a smart kid, you know? You got some bread coming in, you should go
So
to
what are you, like 13, 14 this year?
Yeah. I think I would have been in like year 8, year 7, year 8, yeah.
But not going to school a lot.
Nah. I was like, because I was under DHS, I was like a warden of the state, but I'd never stuck around in the homes or anything like that. I always left.
Mm-hmm.
So I was on the run most of the time, like missing persons warrants every 2 weeks and shit.
Really? So obviously at that stage, you can't live by yourself.
No.
So if you're not going to live at home, you need a guardian legally.
Yeah.
Is that where it's at?
Yeah. But I don't know, man. Like, if I was a normal person, I would have just stuck with the system. Like, they were taking me to school and all that. But I wanted to skip all that. I was making a lot of money, you know? So I was like, I need to be out. Not that it was the best idea, but make bread, bro. It's the only way a young kid's going to survive on the street and kind of stay out of trouble, you know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
I wasn't doing anything too crazy, but it definitely set me up to where I am now.
Yeah. So you're making money, not in the most glamorous fashion, but as a 13-year-old kid, that's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah. I was, the life I observed as a youngin' in New Zealand, bro, was pretty full on, you know, and I watched how people made money.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of just made it translate, you know, and it was pretty easy, bro, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I didn't have to try too hard. I was making a lot of money, bro. Some weeks I'd be making like $3,000-$4,000 in profit as a little kid.
As a
bro.
14,
And
13.
like, what are you going to spend it on? Because I wasn't drinking. I wasn't really taking drugs. I was too young to even really know what that was. So I just bought paint. I think the most I ever painted, bro, in 1 year, I did nearly 200 pieces, maybe like 180.
When you're in your teens?
In my teens, yeah. Yeah.
That's crazy, man.
It was, yeah. And that's when I started, Jace actually told me to start, like, photographing them. Mm-hmm. So I think I started photographing them about 2012.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So before that, you're not thinking about the future. You're just like, I'm making money here. I'm buying paint.
Yeah.
Right? I've got disposable income, more money than I need. Yeah. So I'm just going to put this into my passion. And your passion was hip-hop.
Yeah.
In all facets, or just predominantly graffiti at that stage?
To be honest, bro, like, I don't even know why I got into it. No one I knew painted. I didn't know any writers or anything.
There's a big hip-hop culture in New Zealand, though. Like, people do love it.
Yeah, for sure. That's probably where I got my taste for it, because as soon as I came here, I was in primary school, and I think that was my first memory of actually really trying to do graffiti was grade 4.
Yep.
Yeah, just trying to do lettering and titles and stuff. I never did any of the work at school, to be honest, bro. I like drawing and shit.
I was talking to my partner about this the other day, man. I don't think I did any work at school either. A lot of people didn't, especially at public schools. You could just slide by. Just going to school was just good enough.
Yeah, and I mean, there's so many people there. It's so easy to slip through the gaps, you know?
For sure.
And they don't really care if it's just 1 or 2 kids here and there.
Man, I think the public fucking school system, like it's there, but I think a lot of kids don't do a whole lot.
Yeah.
And for problem kids, it's more about just attendance than fucking doing stuff, you know?
I mean, I didn't understand school, and like, I found a lot of it really useless information, you know? Like, I want to know how to make money.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to learn about geography and all that kind of stuff. You know, we can do that later on. I don't think I really paid attention until I got to when I met Jace and I started doing music production. And one of my classes at school was straight up, where they had cabinets of paint and we just painted pieces. You know what I mean? At school, bro, I ended up painting most of the school before I left. It was pretty good.
And you're lucky that we have those sort of resources, because there's a lot of parts of the country where that isn't a fucking option, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely works. Like Jace or Shem, whatever people know him as, he's done an amazing job at like being in the right place at the right time for a lot of people. You know what I mean? Like, if I never met him at Obese buying paint when I did, I'd probably be in jail or dead, I reckon.
Yep.
To be honest.
Yeah. And that's awesome, and you were lucky. You found a positive role model.
Yeah.
And he was a fair bit older, and he got it. And he was probably at the right time of his life and mature enough to be like, I can help this kid out, you know?
Yeah, he did. Well, he's always seen my talent and what I can do before I even knew my capabilities, you know what I mean? So he's always made sure I'm doing the right thing. And most of the time, bro, I only did right by myself so that I wouldn't let him down, you know? Because he gives me a lot of wisdom, you know, and he really took me under his wing, which is a high respect, bro.
For sure.
Yeah.
So then how did that relationship build? So you go in from buying all this paint, he reaches out to you. Eventually he's like, hey, man, for a young kid, you got a fair bit of money to spend. Why don't you do something a bit more productive? Why don't you start going to these sound engineering classes? Or is that how it sort of kicks off?
Yeah, well, he just kind of influenced me and said, you know, I'm a teacher at this school. It's kind of a bit different to your normal setup of how public schools are. You might enjoy it, you know? You don't have to go every day. I think I started and I was only doing a couple of hours a day for a couple of days a week. Just slowly ease my way back into it, because I was pretty much homeless, bro. Like, as a kid, like, I went there and I said, you know, like, I can't pay for anything. Well, I could have, but I'm not doing that. You know what I mean? Like,
I need money for paint.
But yeah, I rocked in and I said, you know, like, I got not much to do. I don't really have a house or anything, no guardians. Like, but I want to go to school. Can you guys take me in? And then slowly weave myself in there.
So when you say you're homeless, does that mean that you don't have a fixed address, or you're literally sleeping outside some nights?
I think when I started going to school, I was in a stable environment. It wasn't my space. I was with my partner at the time, staying with her family. So it was somewhat stable, but I was still very active out in the street, yeah.
And that's pretty, for a young kid, it's pretty cool that your partner at the time, her family, would have a teenager come live with them, you know what I mean?
Wild. I would never allow that in my house, you know what I mean? But yeah, I think...
You're lucky though.
Yeah, very.
At that point in time.
Very lucky, yeah.
Yeah.
No, you're right.
You wouldn't be doing it with your kids?
Nah, no way. Hell no.
Different times.
Yeah.
So then Jace takes you under his wing a little bit. He takes you to this school. You probably didn't even know that schools like this fucking existed. And then you go to a school like that, you can be creative. There's not an emphasis on discipline. It's more about, we just want to follow what you like doing and structure it in a fucking way that is productive.
That's it, man. So at that school, I ended up, because I was in the system, I was under DHS. I applied for they give a certain amount of scholarships for people in the system. So I got one for music. I applied for it, and I think they give it to 200 people in the country. I ended up getting that, which funded me to like build a little studio at home so I could keep recording.
Yeah.
which was good, man. Because when I left my school before that, I got a scholarship. I was going to get a scholarship for sports because I was playing rugby at a pretty decent level. But once I left DHS homes, I couldn't do that. I was on the street.
Yeah.
I was running away. I couldn't really follow that. So I was pretty disappointed, bro. And I was pretty much just waiting until I turned 18. You can't really do much. You can't even rent your own house until you're 18. You can't really do anything.
Yeah, that's true, man. Like, it doesn't matter how much money you've got.
Yeah.
Like, you need that
Legally,
shit
you
on
can't
paper.
do-
Yeah.
You can't do anything. Like,
Yeah.
I think I got my first house pretty much straight away, like under my name when I turned 18. Which was pretty
Bring
good.
the mic a little bit closer.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And when you think about it now, like, probably back then, you're 15, 16, you're like, fuck this, I just want my own house. But now you get it. You're like, kids can't just rent a house. Like,
Yeah, nah. I mean, like, yeah. I think I try not to think about it too much, but I really bossed my way through my younger teen years. Like, I never even really ruined my life much on drugs. Like, I tried pretty much a lot of things, bro. But I'm a very intelligent person. It has to bring me some kind of, I don't know, mental growth in a way. So I never really fuck with drugs, bro. And saying that, I did pass my year 12 on psychedelic mushrooms.
wow.
Which was fucked. Me and my best mate took them every day for nearly 3 months.
Like,
3 months.
microdosing or full on taking them?
Big doses. We would take like half bags or ounces to school and eat them in like the pool hall when everyone's having breakfast. So we would just sit there like laughing at each other.
This is where Jace is the teacher?
Yeah.
So he would have been.
I'm sorry, Jace.
He would have been disappointed, man. He's like, dude.
He never even knew. No one
but
no one
now
ever
he
knew.
would be like, dude, I was helping you out. Don't fuck with me like that.
He knows I'm a little wild out guy. I put him through some questionable things as my teacher, and he had to remind me a couple of times. He's like, bro, I'm your teacher, you can't be trying to incriminate me. I can lose my job. So I always had to make sure I'm doing right by him too.
For sure. And that's one thing, man. There's teachers, but he's a mentor, not just a teacher. You can't do the wrong thing by him.
Yeah.
That's wild.
That was an experience, bro. And I mean, I can't take mushies ever again. It took me so long to get back to a normal headspace. By the end of it, I was like, man, I just want to feel normal.
Yeah, that's the psychedelics is something I've never done personally. I just don't like not being in control and knowing when to snap out of it. It's not for me. But it's kind of cool that, you figured that out early. You're like, this is not good.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of the only thing that I will take. I like to, I don't know why, but when I was a kid, I'd take psychedelics alone even, bro. Mm-hmm. It's a good mental, I don't know. I was able to build a very strong mindset around my life and honestly not feel sorry for myself because I'm in this shit position and sit around moping. I just got to it, did what I needed to do, make ends meet. And I think that definitely was a stage in my life that I needed to, but I would never do that again.
Because you're a motivated young individual, you would have been in these sort of, systems and seen other kids that are just, not doing anything to help themselves. And you were like, I don't want to be like that. I'm going to help myself.
Yeah. Well, my thing that I've always stuck by, bro, is there's no point. Well, you can sit around, cry, complain, like feel sorry for me, I need sympathy kind of act. Or you can just come to terms with what it is, realize that everyone around you's got something going on in their life. It's never peaches and cream, So you can either sit around and be like the majority of people, or you can do something,
For sure.
And I was, from the life that I come from in New Zealand, bro, Australia is like a wonderland.
It's chill.
Where I'm from, where my mum picked me up from, bro, we were living in tents. We didn't even have a house. We didn't have running water. We would steal water from the building next door in milk bottles.
Whereabouts in New Zealand?
So I had a pretty wild upbringing, but my dad ended up taking me and my sister from my mum for a few years. I don't know how many years, but...
Without her knowledge?
Yeah, without her knowledge. She moved to Australia after, not being able to find us. She hired private detectives, and they found us eventually. 2008, that's when we came here. So I hadn't seen my mum in ages, bro. One day we got raided. And, went to court, did all that, and then I had to move. I don't even think my dad came to court, to be honest, bro. But it was pretty wild, man.
So because their relationship wasn't working, he wanted to keep the kids, so he took you guys without telling your mum.
Yeah.
Your mum looks for you for a number of years, even with private detectives, can't find you. Yeah. So she thinks, I'm going to go to Australia, start a better life.
Yeah.
But then eventually she does find you.
Yeah. And she came back and she got us, bro, and brought us here to Australia.
That's crazy. Dude.
So when I was, that's why I was like, wow, like I always thought my life would be not much, you know, like where I'm from in New Zealand, it's a lot of gang culture, you know, the mongrel mob, black power, whatever you have it. But that would have been my life if I didn't move here, you know what I mean? So my mum did me a solid on that behalf. I always thought, I remember one day when I was a kid, bro, my dad flogged me. I was at home, I like ran up, because we lived in the country, like ran up and sat on a hill, and I was like, man, if I ever have my life in my hands like this, I'm not going to sit around complaining or like be like this. I'm going to really do some shit, you know what I mean? So once I came to Australia, things didn't really work out so well with my mum. She was still young at the time. She didn't realize that the experience me and my sister just went through, we needed counseling, you know.
That's traumatic for anyone.
Yeah, so it was only normal that we rebelled a little bit, you know. My sister's she's a little bit crazy, so I always just stuck with her, you know, because I lived with her my whole life.
She's older or younger?
Yeah, she's older. Yeah, that's my sister who passed away 2020. Rest in peace, my baby. But yeah, I lived with her my whole life, bro. That was the only person I was with my whole life. I wasn't with my mum or my dad for the majority of my life. It was my sister, you know, through the system in New Zealand. So she was having problems at home. She ran away. I would just kind of go wherever she went, you know, make sure she's good. I was known in the street, so I would be able to find her places to stay, you know, help her with money, give her money for food, whatever she needed, you know, like she was smoking bud at the time too. I'd give her some weed, whatever she wanted, you know, so. My mum tried her best with us, but, you know, things just didn't work out, and we're good now, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're real good now. It took a bit of time, but you can mend all relationships, I feel, bro, if you take the right steps and you really want it, yeah.
For sure, and I think it happens with a lot of people that they don't really understand how young their parents probably were until you get to a certain age, you know, like, and then you start to realise you're like, my parents had me at 20. You're like, they're 20, they don't know what they're doing.
When you're a kid, you feel like your parents can't be wrong, you know, like they're invincible, they can't make mistakes, but I don't know why I knew that. But I did. I knew that my mum was young, you know. Like, I never was angry at my mum or blamed her for anything. I just got to it. I'm not really one to look backwards and mope about shit. I just keep forward, you know what I mean? So.
Yeah. And she inevitably brought you here to Australia, which was probably her she thought this is just going to be a better life in general.
Yeah.
And it was.
100%.
Yeah.
Mine and my dad's relationship wasn't the best. It still isn't the best. He's not the best person, bro, but she definitely didn't want that life for me. It's very common with Polynesians, bro, especially growing up in New Zealand. No one has much money. I was the first person ever in the existence of my family to finish school, ever. No one's ever finished school, you know what I mean? Like, I've tried to make sure I tick off boxes and really set a good example. I got younger brothers and sisters, you know what I mean? So I'm trying to make sure set a good example for them.
Yeah.
Of course.
And even though you were the only one to finish school, you were pretty close to not finishing school.
I made it work, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter what I had to do or accomplish. I made it work. You know what I mean? And it took a lot of dedication.
So this whole time you're going through these struggles, graffiti or hip hop cultures in the back of your mind, you're drawing, you're painting, but the rapping, are you rapping?
I didn't start rapping until I went to the school. Shout out my boy Alacor. He used to do a rap class. Jace was the producer. He would make beats, and then Donnie would be in there rapping, teaching kids how to rap, just spitting. They used to do freestyles, whatever. And when I first met Donnie, I spoke a little bit about my story, and he's like, "Man, you got a really cool story. You know, you should try and speak it." At this point, I'm like, "Man, I don't want to fucking rap." You know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to stay out the way of the spotlight or whatever. Got my own shit going on, but I gave it a shot, man. To be honest, went home. I tried it a couple times, just writing like notes. It doesn't even have to be a full song, you know what I mean? And then I showed him over one of Jace's beats, and he was like, "What the fuck? You know, like, you got to do that. That's your calling, you know what I mean?" And I was like, I wasn't too keen, bro, to be honest. I didn't want to rap. But Jace was at my school in a $100,000 studio making beats with no one in there. None of the kids gave a fuck. And I was like, "Do you know who this man is, bro? Like, this is a wasted opportunity if I don't take this." So me and Jess would stay back after school hours till sometimes dark time, you know, and I would just record music. He really pushed me to do that. After school, we would get into a lot of crime, drinking, whatever, you know. So he knew that I was different. He said, man, you got to come do this. Don't worry about what they're doing. Come do this, you know, put your mind to this. And I trusted his judgment, so I gave it a shot, yeah.
100%. And not only do you have him, you've also got Donnie, who is... So you've got two dudes that are both reputable, pulling you in the right direction.
Yeah. I didn't really realize that, bro, until like once I left school and really like it was on me if I continued this rap career or not. They're not my school teachers anymore. Turned more into friends, you know. And as I got older, they were a little bit more going from like role model, teacher to friend, brother kind of relationship, you know. And us three as a collective, bro, we put a lot of hours into making music with no even real goal in sight, just the love of it, you know. And in one of our songs, we said 3 generations of hip hop, you know what I mean? Like, I think Jace is like double my age, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like we connect on a level, it's like we're the same person pretty much through this culture.
But, you know, you've probably taught him a lot as well. Do you know what I mean? As much as he's... Maybe not as much as he's taught you, but he's probably learned a lot from you, man.
I think so. I think it was good for him, especially he was a teacher at the school. He would have a lot of issues with kids, you know, and like...
Behavioural issues,
Yeah, you know what I mean? And then hearing their side of the story from me and me explaining to him why they're being like that and what they're doing, it really went from like they're doing the wrong thing, like it needs to stop, to like trying to understand why they're doing it and really helping them, you know what I mean? Like
definitely. I had a person that I was talking to yesterday, and you know, we kind of both came to the conclusion that a lot of people do things because of trauma they haven't dealt with.
Yeah.
That comes down to a lot of it: drug issues, behavioural issues, all sorts of shit. And the thing is, a lot of people, because you can't put yourself in someone else's shoes, really, they just go, "Why is that person doing this and that?" It's probably because they've got fucking some deep-seated trauma that they can't deal with.
Yeah, trauma is a fucking crazy thing, bro. Especially as a man, a young man, you ruin a lot of relationships and yourself and future opportunities by not really being present in your thoughts, you know what I mean? And like self-care. It's crazy.
Do you think that the music helped you come to these sort of realizations, or was it? Are you spiritual at all?
I mean, in my own little ways, bro. Like, I'm very observant of what life is. You know, what other people put their time and energy into. But for me, like, people, I've said this since I was a kid. People always ask me, "Do you believe in God?" And I always told them, I believe in myself. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I believe in my capabilities as a human and my time while I'm here on this earth, you know. So I wouldn't say that I pinpoint what, like, God or anything like that, but energy is real, bro. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I'm definitely an energy person.
And if you don't believe in yourself, who else is going to believe in you?
Exactly. I say that a lot, bro. Like, a lot of people in this industry, whether it's music, whether it's art, clothing, DJing, whatever, you have to back yourself 100, bro. You got to believe like you're the shit, because that energy transfers. If you walk into a room and you feel like your music's okay, you're kind of a bit, you know, shrug shoulders, you're a bit quiet. But if you really are doing what you love and it's for a healthy reason for yourself, you ooze an energy, and people either take it well or they don't. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that's true. But you're a confident person.
Yeah.
So it comes natural to you. You know, some people it doesn't, and that's hard for them to manufacture.
I wouldn't even, to be honest, bro, growing up, I had really low self-esteem because of the traumatic experiences that I'd gone through. But the thing about me and my life when I was growing up is I didn't really care about what anyone had going on, because they're not sleeping in the bed when I'm sleeping, you know. They're not outside when I shouldn't be outside. It's cold, I got nowhere to sleep, you know what I mean? I got no money, I don't even have a phone. They're not there. So it doesn't really matter what they say. At the end of the day, it's not going to change anything in real life.
Yep.
It's not going to change anything. So it started from there, I think, just believing that even we're going to make mistakes, bro, but you have to make those mistakes. And to do it alone, I think you really learn a lot about yourself, you know?
Yeah. And the earlier you make those mistakes, the more you can fucking mature and you can get to your real purpose earlier than later.
Yeah. That's definitely true, man. I mean,
it's never too late, though.
no.
Like, I've spoke to a lot of people on this podcast that have been like, man, I fucked up all through my 30s and now I'm 40-something and I'm on the right path. And it doesn't matter. Better late than never.
Bro, that next day, you could be addicted to gambling and gamble every day, every cent. But that first day you say, fuck, I'm not going to do that today, that's the first day of the rest of your life, you know what I mean? Like, you're never going to be the same age you were then, but you're never going to get younger than today, you know what I mean? So everyone has a time, and I think everyone has a choice if you want to or not. I think people seek too many rewards and results. They don't just do it because it's right for them, you know what I mean? Like, a lot of the things that I do now, I don't necessarily see an end goal for, but I'm putting one brick down at a time. Mm-hmm. I'm not even looking at the rest of what's going on. Eventually, I can walk away and come back and I can see a massive wall that I've built. You know what I mean? Like, but I don't expect the wall. Just lay the bricks. Be happy laying the bricks. Part of the journey. You know what I mean?
I was about to say, it sounds really cheesy, but it's all about the journey.
It is.
Like, you know, people and more and more people I talk to are good at understanding that. Yeah. But I think society has told us for years, you go buy a house and then you chill out or whatever. Yeah, it's not about that.
No. Fuck
and
that.
People are starting to understand now.
I mean, buy a house for what? And I find a lot of the time you're trying to appease people that have nothing going on anyway. A lot of the people that are like, oh, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that, are probably talking from a place of bullshit, because any real person is never going to discourage you from doing something. You know, they'll either shut the fuck up or try and encourage you or show you another way, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think that you figured that out early, which sets you ahead of the rest. A lot of people don't figure that out till a bit later, man, but that's probably because you were forced, you know, through circumstances beyond your control to grow up quicker than some.
Yeah, man. I mean, when I was probably 5, bro, we never went to school. My dad didn't really give a fuck about us like that. I never even really seen him too much, you know what I mean? I never went to school. I would walk down to the shops and ask the shopkeepers, can I do something for some food? There was a couple of shops there, fish and chip shop, there was like a fruit market, and I used to go there and make income or like food, free food, you know, like, I don't know why I knew that at that age. I came here when I was 10, so I was probably between 5 and 8, and I was already on that mentality of, I need to do this to get somewhere, you know.
But it's probably coming from a place, no one's going to help me out, so I have to make it for myself, you know?
Yeah, well, my dad was never around, bro. So it's like, someone's got to do it.
For sure. And the thing is, just from hearing your story now, that's a tough mentality to take on board, because your dad didn't want you hanging with your mum, but he also didn't want to hang around with you. So that's a kind of a tough situation to put a young kid in, and your sister at the time, you know?
I got a lot of siblings too, bro. I grew up with a lot of siblings. My dad didn't stop having babies. He's still having babies. I'm one of 11. I have 10 brothers and sisters, and maybe...
Where do you fit in the age sort of range of that?
I'm the third oldest.
Yep.
Majority of them I haven't even met.
Yeah.
Never met them before. I left New Zealand 15 years ago, and I haven't been back since.
Never been back?
No.
Right. Do you want to go back?
Yeah. It's definitely very important to me, bro, but because of what my dad did, it's taken us away. I don't really know any of my family. I did, like, from 2 to 3, but you're not really conscious then, you know, you don't really remember.
Have you called your dad? Have you tried to sort of, you know, forge a relationship?
I tried to over the years, a couple times. It didn't really work out. When my sister passed away, he kind of reached out, you know, and he would talk, and because I got made redundant from my job at the time, you know, he said, I'm going to help you, support you financially, mentally, whatever you need, you know, and I said to him, I was like, bro, I'm a grown man now, you know, you can't, don't be playing with me, because I'm not a dickhead, bro. I'd be pretty smart, you know what I mean? So I said to him, if you're all talk, you're just talking, bro, just gap it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that I can totally understand. You're like, mate, don't give me empty promises now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, put your money where your mouth is and let's talk about it, or don't even bother.
Yeah. So that didn't end up going too well, and then after the death of my sister, the rest of my siblings back home were kind of just over allowing him to be a shit dad. You know what I mean? So they ended up telling him to leave, and he left. Wow. And he just out somewhere. I think he chops trees down for a living, bro. I'm pretty sure he lives in a shack, like in the woods. It's pretty creepy.
Dude, yeah, but that's the thing, though.
But to even, like, he doesn't... Now, I would message my grandmother, bro, my dad's mum, and say, you need to be holding your son accountable for what's going on. I get that he doesn't want to be at home around the kids, but there's no money coming in. There's no food. There's like 7 kids there, and no one has a job because they're too young, and you're out here making money. What are you doing? I'm pretty sure now he might actually stay with my grandma. My dad's in his 40s, bro, nearly 50, still living at his mom's house.
Is there substance issues, alcohol issues, anything?
Yeah. Not that I can remember 100%, but bro, I had my first beer when I was like fucking 5. You know what I mean? Like, there would be big piss ups at our house, and the kids would clean the next day. So we're cleaning alcohol, cigarettes, whatever, you name it. I was getting into that, you know. So I did see he used to smoke weed in the house. Probably a little bit of meth too, but I couldn't be sure for certain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the worst, I think, man. Like, that is stuff that's definitely ruined a lot of families, you know.
It's a big culture in New Zealand.
They call it P there?
P, yeah.
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 There's
a lot of it.
Why P? Why P? I've never understood that. No, it's just
a nickname.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's no good, man.
But it's pretty crazy, bro. Like, the mongrel mob has, or had, I'm not sure if they do it anymore, but they had a under the table agreement with the police not to stop selling crack to the kids of the streets, and they wouldn't bust them as long as they were selling to like adults and weren't fucking the kids up. Yeah, they would kind of let it slide, because that's crazy where I'm from, bro. One of the houses I lived in, it was 4 corners. One was mongrel mob, one was Black Power, Bloods and Crips. And if you're from a certain place, you're not allowed to walk the streets that you don't belong in. They will hurt you. You know what I mean? I was always drilled into my brain. Don't think because you're a kid you're innocent. The only way they can get back at certain people is by going through the kids. You know what I mean? Getting them addicted to crack, fucking their lives up. You know what I mean? It's crazy, bro.
Yeah. And then you see that sort of stuff, and you come to here, and you're like, fuck, Australia's good, man.
Bro, I was wild, man. My mum was like, this is Australia where people are normal. You can't do crazy shit over here, bro. I remember I used to get bullied a lot, believe it or not, bro. In primary school when I first came here, a lot of people would, pick on me for my accent or just certain things. I don't know why, bro. Probably because I was a different color, different from a different place. I'd get bullied a lot, but it didn't hurt me, because I'd just beat them up, bro. You know what I mean? Imagine. It's like, I'm like, bro, are you really saying this to me, Ethan? Like, come on, bro, you tripping,
But you're in Edithvale or something like that.
Yeah, Edithvale.
So that's a pretty kind of just white suburbia.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a well, now it's a little bit more, but it's not a overly multicultural place.
No, I had one black homie. Shout out my boy Luther. He, me and him used to hang out. I think we used to do karate together too. We're still friends now, which is crazy. He was my first friend when I moved here to Australia. Yeah. Which was wild, but yeah, everyone else was Australian. And I mean, I was confused about why they thought it was like, can you not see me? But they have never seen violence before or been in that situation, so they're just being kids, being smartasses, being mean to each other. They don't know that there's certain things that happen, with adults. But I remember I was hanging out with this kid, bro, at his house, and he wanted to hang out with someone else. He's like, you have to go. I'm going to hang out with other people. You can't come. Oh, yeah. And I was like, yeah, all good, bro. I waited for him and his family to leave, and I robbed their house, bro. I was in grade 4.
No shit. So he was just being straight up racist, and you're like, fuck this kid.
No, I don't even think he was being racist. He just wanted to hang out with cooler people. I didn't really have much going on. I was a bit of a weirdo. Okay. Didn't really do much. So
it wasn't right. It was just
I don't know. I don't know, to be honest. I never looked at it as racist though. But
he was just being a dickhead.
Yeah, and I was just like, this motherfucker don't know me, bro. Like, do as you please, cuz. I sat there. I drank his dad's liquor, bro. I was in grade 4. I never never really had alcohol in my life, but I was like, fuck this, bro. I'm drinking his dad's liquor, stole his money box, took some of his Lego because I was really into Lego at the time. Kicked it at his house for a bit. Like, who the fuck does that in grade 4? How old even are you in grade 4?
About
Maybe like 11?
10 or something.
10,
Yeah,
11,
not
yeah.
wild. Yeah.
I was wild, bro. And I remember telling my mum, and she was just like, what the fuck? Like, it's not even funny. Like, you can't be doing that.
No.
And I was just kind of like, yeah, I can.
But it's a totally different thing because where you were from, that wouldn't, like, obviously you don't go rob people's houses, but 10-year-old kids drinking or, you know, pinching some shit, you didn't think it was that bad. Kids just got up to kid shit. But then here it feels like it's different.
Yeah. Because my mum was trying to bring me from that life to a better life, you know what I mean? She's like, this is where the cycle ends. Like, I speak to my mum now, bro. I asked her not long ago, what's one thing you're proud of me the most? And she said, not going to jail. Like, if you were to look at the statistics of a brown man without a father in a different country not going to jail, like, there's a very low chance it's going to happen, you know what I mean? So I definitely had to be smarten up at least along the way.
And that's one thing that I think we all take for granted when we're kids. A lot of people that fuck up, myself included, put our parents through a lot of stress, you know? And all they wanted for us to not get arrested and shit, you know? That's it.
Well, yeah. I mean, and I always felt bad too. Like, I love my mum, bro. I've always loved my mum. When I was a child, I never got to see her much, you know, and it was always sad around her because I knew that I wouldn't be getting much time, you know. So I was definitely disappointed in myself when I was younger. But at the same time, I was like, it is what it is, you know. Like, this is my life. I kind of clearly have to, I'm the captain of this ship. Like, I got to figure it out myself. My mum's always been good in that sense too, about allowing me to go through my mistakes and not trying to coddle me through life and like stressing me out, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think she probably understood that you were pretty mature and that you were going to figure it out for yourself. She had faith that you were going to figure it out.
Man, I remember when I moved to this home in DHS. It was like out in the country because I kept running away. I kept having warrants, so they moved me far, far away from the city. And she wrote me a note and put it in my bag and said, you know, pretty much saying, things aren't working out now. It doesn't always have to be like this. Like, later on, we can rekindle that relationship or whatever. And she wrote, I know you're going to be something great. One day I'll see you on TV for doing what you love. You know what I mean? So.
And that stuck with you.
Yeah. I mean, it was sad that me and my mum weren't on good terms at a young age, but that's just what life served me at the time, you know. So I just had to keep keeping on, doing what I'm doing. But I always kept that in my mind, bro. That's why having Jace, having my situation back home, being the threat of being easily deported, bro. Once you hit 18, you can't.
So you didn't have citizenship here?
I still don't.
Really?
No.
But I thought people from Australia and New Zealand could kind of move and go, but I guess if you fuck up
For
legally...
tax purposes.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah, right.
Because I don't pay for a visa, I'm only...
Do you get healthcare, like Medicare and shit?
Fuck. I've never been to the doctors in Australia.
Wow.
Maybe for like a... What do they call it? I wouldn't go to work sometimes. I'd be hungover and get a medical certificate.
Yeah, you can get them from the chemist, though.
Yeah, yeah. Just,
$25.
That's the only thing I have it for. I remember Medicare tried to call me one day and like send me out a new card, and they're like, "We have no medical history of you." And I was like, "Yeah, I've never gone, bro. I lived a weird life where normal things you do, I didn't. You know what I mean? Like, I had to work out that you got to go to the dentist, you got to go to the doctors, but I was always pretty well-minded, bro. Like, I know a lot about my body and how it works just from being conscious about it, you know. So I've never really had any big health issues.
No.
At all, really.
No. And that's it, man. But you're young. You're young, though. You don't want to have too many fucking issues at this point in time.
No. I don't think I would have too many issues, to be honest. I mean, my missus has been trying to get me to, you know, go and see if I'm all right, but it is what it is, you know. I think if something was coming up, I'd be able to tell, you know.
Yeah, you feel it.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about. So you started doing music. We talked about that. You started doing that at school.
Yeah.
You finish school about 18, I'm guessing, 17, 18. You finish school, you got to figure out what you want to do from there because you've had Jace push you in the right direction.
Yeah.
Is he saying, man, you need to get a real job? He's like, what are you going to do after that? Like,
Nah, to be honest, Jace till this day just constantly hounds me. You need to do music. You need to be putting in work. You need to be putting in work. Like, times is of the essence. He never really got too much involved in my personal life unless it was like keeping out of trouble and jacks and all that kind of shit.
but if you need him, you knew he was there.
Yeah. So, luckily, bro, my best mate, shout out my boy Jordy, he let me move into his house when I finished school. Because we went to the same school together. I think I was about 17, 18, around there. And his dad actually got me a job. His family loves me, bro. They really took care of me when I needed it, you know. And he said, you know, you want a job? Do you want to work, you know? So I started working before I finished school, so that when I was finished school, I was already in a job, I was pretty lucky. My best friend's dad was friends with the CEO of this company, which is crazy. So I went there. He heard a little bit about my story, and he's like, "We'll take you on board," you know. Mm-hmm. And I stayed there 5 years. I got made redundant after 5 years.
What kind of work were you doing?
At the start, it was pickpacking, just in a factory. Yeah. But I used to watch the machines, and whenever there was a problem, I would cause and effect. Why does this happen? You know, how do you fix it? I was always in my mind just conscious about these things. And after a while, maintenance would come around and fix the machines, and I'd say, "Hey, bro, this is happening because that thing there's doing this. Just
this
fix
thing's
that."
lodged in there.
Yeah. And then eventually, after a while, they're like, "Why don't we just give you a shot at being a maintenance worker, you know, fixing the machines?" No qualifications, bro. I don't know what the fuck I was doing. It was just from observing. Mm-hmm. And
but that's how you learn the best, on the job, man. Yeah.
Of course. So I did pickpacking for a bit, and then I went to like line leader, like leading the lines, managing and making sure they're running well, and then moved to maintenance.
Was that hard for a kid who's made money early when you were younger? You had all this sort of money, but working legit stuff and doing the hours. Was it hard to make that transition?
I was still doing both. Yeah, I was still doing both, bro.
Yeah.
So, but that's when I turned 18, bro, and I figured out what gambling was and like drinking and clubbing and all that kind of shit. Not that I ever really been big into clubs, but I'd go to the pub by myself, bro, and just play pokies for no reason, like spend heaps of money, and then eventually I went down that track for a bit, you know.
Pokies are evil, dude. Yeah, they're the worst, man.
Crazy.
Like, I fucking can't stand them, and I hate them. Man, you know, in Victoria, we never had them until the late 90s. They didn't exist in Victoria. Wow. And then we let them in. Yeah. People said, "Oh, you need them for the sports clubs and stuff." And now they're just in pubs, and they're fucked.
Yeah, so I wasted a lot of money on the pokies, bro. Not even just the pokies, just life in general, man. I saved quite a bit of money, to be honest. And while I was working, and then my sister passed away in 2020. That's when my job made me redundant. Because I wasn't fully qualified legally, they wouldn't pay me what they were giving the other blokes, which we had an EBA at the time. My pay would have had to go up like 10 to 20 bucks an hour, you know. And I was like, I need that. I'm not wasting my time here anymore. And they said, "We're gonna pay you out. See you later." And I was like, that was my first real lump of cash, bro. They paid me like, I don't know, 15, 20 grand, and I was just like, what? Mm-hmm. I think I spent that in like 2 weeks.
Oh, dude.
Crazy. And I was like, wow, that went quick. You know what I mean?
Easy come, easy go.
Yeah. And then when my sister passed away, because she was in a car accident, TAC look after you. Like, I was on a 2-year mental health leave, which ended actually last year, bro, to be honest. Mm-hmm. And I spent, between 2020 and 2023, I probably rinsed about 250 grand. In 1 month, I have it in my phone, like, as a reminder. It's like a screenshot of my bank statement. I had $86,000 go through my account in 1 month.
1 month?
In 1 month. In and out. And I was like, shit.
Dude.
Like, I realized maybe last year that my life is, I've always done whatever I want, get whatever I need. I'm good. But I realized that I can't sustain this forever. I'm going to have kids at one point. Like, I'm going to get old. I won't be as able. You know what I mean? So that was a big lesson for me, bro, is being like money management. And because I'm a kind of person where I don't ask for advice, I learn from my mistakes and observe what I should do by watching other people around me, what I want to be. That's probably the biggest lesson. That's probably something I'm most proud of too, bro, is getting through gambling problems and money problems because I didn't really give a fuck. I still kind of don't give a fuck about later. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't want a house. Bro, I'm 26 now. I've never bought a car in my life. I don't want a car. I couldn't give a fuck about a car, bro. I've had hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. I could have whatever car I want, bro, but I don't want it. It doesn't serve me a purpose. You know what I mean? Like, when you're a dope cunt, you need to wear this and drive this, but it's like, you're doing that to people who aren't dope cunts. So, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Like, I'm not doing that. I had like a breakdown one day, bro, when I was living in Dandenong. Probably when I was like 20, 21, 22. I threw a whole bunch of jewelry away. I threw it in the creek in Dandenong because I was pissed off that the world taught me that when you are a certain person and you're in a certain tax bracket, you got to show it. So I was spending money on jewelry, just dumb shit, bro. Just, I don't know, trying to impress people that shouldn't really be impressed, you know what I mean? Like, that was a massive lesson. It took me a while to realize that you don't need to do that. Like,
so where do you sit in where money means? Like, we all need it to live. We know that. It's not the most important thing, but we do need it for certain things.
oh, I love money, bro. We need a lot of that. You know what I mean? Like, that's all I focus on these days is making money and trying my best to get away from spending it. That's why, you know, my missus is always like, you put so much on your plate. You expect a lot of yourself, you know? But that's kind of like helping me in the long run. Because if I'm busy all the time, I got no time to waste. It's dangerous out here, bro. Especially when you're young, you don't have any kids. You can just go out and a couple of thousands gone like that, you know? I'm like...
So let me ask you a question, right?
Yeah.
Right now, next week, if you had 80K in your bank, right?
Yeah.
Would you spend it in a month?
I'd give it to my mom, bro.
Okay. So you've learned a valuable lesson.
I'd give it to my mom to hold for me. I'd probably keep 20% just to blow. I like spending money, bro. Don't we all? Just for no reason either, you know what I mean? Like, just spending money. Even when we were talking about the pokies before, like, I don't really play the pokies anymore. Like, I fucking love the pokies, but it doesn't serve me a purpose. But when I go there, bro, I'm happy to take $500 and plan to lose it all. Like, it's just fun, you know what I mean? And me growing up with cash around all the time, it kind of put me in a place where it's like, it's just money, fuck it.
Yeah, you don't value it. I know, yeah.
I do now. Like, my mum and a few other people in my life, my best mate, Jace, has said, you know, like, you can have a good life for your whole life if you're just a little bit smarter now. You know what I mean? Like, it took 250 grand and my best mate telling me, bro, you've got a lot of money, stop spending it, like, set yourself up. And I was just like, nah, I don't care, bro, fuck it. Mm-hmm. It is what it is. I'm a G. Like, I'll make money for the rest of my life, cuz. You know, but I realized you can't. You get old, like, even most of the money I make these days is legal, bro. Like, I'm not really doing anything too crazy out here. But I'm real busy. You know what I mean? Like, I make money. I just started a 9 to 5. It's the first job I've had part-time since 2020. It's the first time I've worked. It's been about 3 years. I've just been making money from art. And I just started making money from music, like doing shows. Mm-hmm. Been doing a few shows this year. But yeah, I'm trying to make it all legal, you know?
Go legit.
Yeah, go legit.
It is. It's hard for people to comprehend, like, to put a value on dollars when it does come in easy. You know what I mean? But and it is easy come, easy go. But then I think you get to a certain point in your life where you're like, fuck, it isn't as easy to make money as it once was. You know?
Yeah. I definitely won't be like this forever. You know what I mean? And I don't want to work necessarily normal jobs, but you can still make money. Like, I started my own clothing brand a couple of years ago, maybe last year or the year before. So I called it Savvy Collection. I named it, dedicated it to my sister. Just another avenue of money. I get in one lane, I try and master it, get myself in a good groove, and then I try to do something else. And then just continue that. You know what I mean? So I still don't know what I'm going to be doing with my life, I kind of try not to think that far ahead. Just
No, you just do
whatever
it.
feels right. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing, man. With my personal business, I didn't know what I wanted to do at 26. I fell into something. I put a lot of effort into it. I got it to a point where that is now my business. This is my fun. This is my hobby. This is like me recording music, painting a fucking wall.
Yeah.
But you got to make money as well, so
Yeah,
you
of
can
course.
do the shit you love.
Yeah.
You know? That's very important.
Yeah. People like to say that money isn't much, you know. Even myself, I don't think that it's much, but you need it.
You need it, man. And when you have kids eventually,
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? Like, and this is one thing that I learned as someone who's a fair bit older. It's all good when you're responsible for yourself. You can be a fuck up when you're responsible for yourself. You can not worry about money. You can do all that. But when you've got people that depend on you, it's harder. And you know that because your dad didn't really do a great job. So you don't want to be like him. You want to be the provider.
Like, I've always been scared to have kids, bro. Like, trauma. If I look around at my family, you know, there isn't the best parents, you know, let alone role models as men. You know what I mean? Like,
But you've been lucky. You've had some good role models pop up, man.
fucking oath. But yeah, I want to be present when I have a kid, you know, like, I don't want to have to work a job that I don't like. I don't want to have to worry about that kind of shit. So that's why I'm trying to tighten up shit now, you know, while I'm young. I'm still young. I feel like I'm getting old, bro.
No, you're young. This is one thing, and this is what, just as a dude who's fucking 15 years older than you or whatever, right? You gotta have fun when you're young, because there's nothing worse, right, than some dude who's like my age, who just worked for years and then hits 40 and then goes, "Oh, I'm gonna try and have fun now." You should have been doing that in your 20s, man. Don't try and do it in your 40s. Go start getting on the bags when you're 40. Like that's the wrong way to do it.
Yeah,
you gotta have fun when you're young,
bro. Just speaking of bags, you know, I've never bought a bag of cocaine in my life.
Yeah,
Never. People find it so amazing too, and I wonder why. Maybe it's how I look, but I've never been into drugs or cars or material things, fake things.
But do you know this is the thing, right? I find with coke, I'm not a huge fan, but I have dabbled in my time.
Yep.
It's definitely a thing that people that aren't overly confident search for, because it gives them, they feel good about themselves.
Yeah.
So if you've said you've never really bought a bag, it's because you don't need that to feel good about yourself.
Nah.
That's kind of where that comes.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Plus, I kind of like the reason for me and my choice of psychedelics, bro, is because like those kind of drugs, they do fuck all, and they don't even last long. Like, I don't want to be able to know my name if I'm getting wild, you know? Like, I don't want to be here. You're trying to escape, but just half escape. Like, you just feel a bit. You look like a fucking drowned rat in the morning, you know. Like,
but that's why all the dudes in suits get on the bags, right? Because they don't really love their fucking life. They work, they make a bit of money, they spend $300 on a shit bag. They feel good about themselves for a bit. They give it to their mates, and that G's them up. That's what it does.
Living for the weekend, bro. That's what I've been conscious of these things since I was a young kid.
The weekend warrior. Yeah, you don't want to be that.
I try and live every day, bro. Even if it's small things, like learning to appreciate the small things in life, bro. Like even just sitting at home and having a conversation with my mom. A lot of the days now, bro, I'm aware that my mom's not going to be here for a long time, you know. So I message her every day, bro. Have a good day, ma. I love you. Talk to her, you know, like just sit down. Sometimes just sit in the room. You don't even need to talk, you know, but those are the things I'm learning to appreciate instead of going out and spending thousands of dollars on pointless things and being like, fuck, that was fun. I'm finding it in those kind of settings now.
But you know what that's called, man? Maturity. Wow. Do you know what it is? It is.
Yeah, true.
It is.
Yeah. Well, yeah. You could say that.
I think it is, man. You know? All right, we've talked a lot about your situation, which is awesome. Let's talk a bit more about the music. What have you got sort of coming up? You're obviously pretty hungry at the moment. You want to do a lot of shit.
Yep. So this year I've been on a good grind, bro. Consistently in the studio, doing shows every month or two, being active. Social media is crazy, bro. Like being able to make money off your crafts, you have to be good with social media. Promotion of yourself is not something that comes easy to everyone, you know. So my goal for this year was just to get everything to a level I'm happy with. I spent a lot of time in the studio recording, not releasing an overly
Still with Jace or just
Yeah.
with different? Yeah.
I don't think I've ever really made music with anyone else.
Wow.
It's always me and him. If I'm doing songs for other people or with other people, I record with him.
It's pretty cool. You've always had that, man.
We speak a language that's like you can't put money to, you know what I mean? Like I don't even have to finish my sentences. He knows what I'm talking about. So we can make a song in 20 minutes, half an hour. Even writing the bars on site, bro. It doesn't take a lot. So it's a fun, creative process too. You know what I mean? So I was on his Jace Connection 2 album. That was crazy.
The live show looked sick, man.
Yeah, that was real fun, man. And it's crazy for me being so young, being on someone as highly regarded as Jace Connection, bro. It's my first time ever being on vinyl, bro. You know, and that speaks for itself. So solo music is incoming. I got a song dropping 9th of September, a little R&B song. I'm still trying to work out where I'm fitting in. I've been dabbling I just started singing in my music, so a little bit of R&B, hip hop. I kind of want to bring back that 2000 party vibe because I want my music to translate to clubs. I don't want it to be just to one audience. You know what I mean? So as well as rapping about the hard shit and street life, I'm trying to rap about some normal shit. You know what I mean? Or like even sing, talking about situations, talking about my girlfriend, whatever it be. You know? So,
Relatable stuff.
yeah.
Man, I don't know if you saw the chat I had with 24 Karat Kev the other day, but I said to him, who do you think is going to blow up from Australia on an international level? And he's obviously a very respectable person. What he says holds a lot of weight. He said, I think it'll be somebody who's melodic, who's kind of got a bit more of that R&B vibe because that's more palatable for the US market, which is the big market, you know what I mean? So you're probably onto something there.
Hey, that's why I've been like... I only just started doing it, bro, but I was like... Because I bump a lot of 2000s music, like B2K, you know, a lot of them, that kind of 2000 vibes. And I realized that there's no one doing that, bro. In Australia, there's a couple, but, like, there's not a big wave of people doing that. And it's fucking dope. Like, you can play a 2000 song to anyone, and they'll be like, oh, my God, I remember this. Like, just the nostalgia of the certain sounds in the song, what you're talking about. It's crazy. Like when I'm getting on the piss, bro, and anyone plays 2000 R&B, hip hop, it's a vibe.
Yeah. When you say to Jace, I want you to start making music like this.
Yeah.
Is he like, oh, that's out of my wheelhouse? Or he's like, oh yeah.
He said at the start, he's like, that's crazy because that's what I used to make when I was like in my younger days. That was kind of like the vibe that I went for. And he's like, but I don't want you to like get too deterred from what you got going on. And that took a couple of times and a couple of studio sessions for me to actually be like, this is the vision. Can you see it? Yeah. You know what I mean? And then the last song that we were about to drop, he was like, yeah, like this is a good sound, you know, and it doesn't sound like anyone else in Australia.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And what about from the art that's not musical perspective? You're going to keep painting a lot more shit? Because obviously you guys paint a lot together. You do a lot of sort of productions, a lot of just murals and shit like that.
So I haven't seen Jason in a couple months now, bro. I just started this 9 to 5, so I've been real busy. But I make bread most weeks, most months, painting canvases, doing walls, posting on social media. Really brings me a lot of business. So I try to be real active with my music and my art, and it's good that I have two different avenues. They don't really you get audience. You know, you look at someone's Instagram, you get sick of them for a week, and then you go back to them after a while. But I've got like a couple of different audiences on mine, which is good.
And there's a definite hip hop crossover.
Yeah.
So that makes sense.
Yeah, it is, and I kind of want to get into DJing too, and a couple of other things. So to definitely broaden my horizons.
Breakdancing? Man, if you're going to get into DJing, you may as well go all in, dude.
Yeah, I mean, like, I've never really been much of a dancer, bro, but I've always thought that, like, when I do get to a certain position that it's definitely a skill that I should have. I mean, to be able to paint, sing, rap, dance, DJ, like, that's crazy, you know
That's
what I mean?
it, man.
Yeah, why not?
All the cultures.
Yeah, for sure.
So, people that are following you now, what can they expect to see for the rest of 2024 coming into 2025, man?
I'm probably going to drop a couple of songs. I've got one dropping next week. I'll probably drop 2 more.
So just for this record, next week is probably this week. So this will come out Thursday next week.
Oh, yeah. So it's already dropped Monday.
Monday.
Yeah.
Last Monday it dropped.
Go run that.
Huge numbers.
Link in my bio on Instagram. Yeah. Nah, but just more music, bro, and keeping healthy. My main goal for this year is health. Like, even on the weekends, bro, I'm trying to stay home, make bread, paint canvases, hang out with my missus, lay in bed. I'm trying to stop having fun for no reason. You know what I mean? When life is so easy and you have so much fun, you don't have too many responsibilities, you make a lot of excuses for yourself,
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of the time it's like, it's Wednesday, I'll go to the pub and get drunk. Just for the fuck of it, because I worked for 2 days, you know what I mean? I'm trying to stop that.
Yeah, but what you've said is so true, because people work, right? They get sucked into the 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, which makes you not very productive in any sort of other creative shit.
Yeah.
And then when you get time off, you think, I'm just going to get drunk a little bit because I work so hard.
Yeah.
And that spirals into 52 weeks of the year. You don't do much creative stuff. Yeah. You just work. And that's what everyone wants to avoid, or in my opinion.
It really shows, bro. Like, for me, that will tell me the character of a person, because I speak to a lot of creatives, and some people, most of the time they say, bro, I can't be fucked. You know what I mean? Like, I'm so tired, this and that. And it's like...
But that's where a 9 to 5 drains your creative juices, man.
You have to, like, if you want to be at the top, you can't be doing what everyone else is doing. That's why I'm crazy with it right now, bro. After work, I'll do something else creative. Money-wise, like, I don't stop until I literally fall asleep. My body will just turn off, bro. I wake up with all my lights on, sitting at the desk, you know what I mean? Like, I work myself crazy, but I got some really big ambitions, bro. Not that I can really see them, but I know I want something big, so I really push myself. And that mentality transfers, bro, when I'm like, I'm tired as fuck. I can't be fucked doing this, but I don't have a choice. If I want to be that person I want to be, I got to do it. Stop feeling sorry for yourself,
No one's going to do it for you.
No.
And you've been lucky along the way with having some people that have definitely pushed you, but no one else is going to do it for you. You got to do it yourself.
And as you get older, bro, like, everyone starts having kids, the support system gets lighter and lighter and lighter, and it gets to a point where it's like, all right, you're on your own. Mm-hmm. Make it happen.
Yeah. What advice would you give to yourself at 14 years old, right? So this is 12 years ago, right? You're 14, you're fucking around, you haven't even really met Jace yet. What advice would you give to yourself?
Don't doubt the vision. Keep that vision, like... That's one thing I've been proud of myself my whole life, bro, is I've never doubted myself once. Even if I aim for the moon and it's physically not realistic, I'm like, I'm doing it, bro. Like, there's no ifs or buts about it. I'm making it happen. It'd be to keep that.
Keep the vision.
Don't doubt the vision. Don't doubt yourself. Whatever you feel in your stomach is coming for a reason. You know what I mean? Like, keep that.
That's deep and it's positive. No, and I really... thought you might have said try and stay online, but you didn't, which means that you think that all this shit you need to go through.
You can't have good without the bad. You can't have bad without the good.
You need the dark and the light. You need the negative, the positive. The yin and the yang.
Even now, 26, bro, like, I know that I'm going to make more mistakes in my life, and I'm happy to wear that responsibility, because to say that you're not going to fuck up and you're not going to do this and do that, you're lying to yourself, first of all, and I don't want to do that, bro.
And like we said, man, it's all part of the journey.
Yeah. You have to appreciate it, bro. Like, my sister died, and it was the worst event in my life, bro. But the mentality that I've been able to build, and the love I have for myself now, and the appreciation I've got for my life, the people around me, I wouldn't take it back, bro. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, you need to go through those things.
For sure.
Yeah.
Man, and not to make it about myself, but I lost my mum at 20 years old. Yeah. And that is a huge bookmark in my life that made me realize I don't want to live my life like this. Yeah. I'm going to change, I'm going to live my life in a certain way. Yeah. And obviously we would do anything to have these people that we loved back, but that sort of stuff really helps shape somebody and helps push you in a direction and make you understand what life's about.
It's the beautiful side of life, bro. Like, I enjoy life in its chaos, man. Like, fucked up shit can happen in my life now, and I'm smiling still, bro. Like, we gonna get through this shit. We good. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? as long as you have confidence within you and yourself, your craft, whatever you do, as well as knowing that you bring value to the people in your life and around you, it's gonna happen, bro.
I love how you are so honest and unapologetically yourself as well, without being preachy. But you got a good message, man. It's fucking cool.
Look, I never really wanted to be a role model or anything like that, you know. But if the shoe fits, you got to chuck that bad boy on. You know what I mean? And I'm a person who is in a lot of limelight for different things. I would hate to be a cockhead. You know what I mean? Like, I showed a lot of my homies too, a lot of hard dudes in the street. I have one homie who was in the army, bro. He's a lot older than me. He's in his 40s. He's killed a lot of people. And he's like, he doesn't give a fuck about his feelings and talking about them and this and that. But me just doing this, bro, sitting down, having a chat with him, chopping it up. Even men like him, I've changed their perspective on what's good and what's not. Like, it's not soft to be a masculine man and be in tune with who you are and what you need, bro.
If anything, that makes you a more well-rounded person, man, whatever you want to call it. You know, you need to be able to talk about these things. Otherwise, you push all these emotions, and then they come out in the way of fucking substance abuse, whether it's gambling, whether it's booze, whether it's alcohol, whether it's, you know, drugs.
Yep.
That's the thing. You got to talk about shit. Otherwise, it just festers.
Yeah, and I find it's a big stigma, man, and it's with men, you know, like the amount of people that say to me, like, because I talk about a lot of bad stuff that happens in my life on social media, you know, like, how are you so confident talking about that situation? It's fucking embarrassing. And it's like, yeah, it fucking is embarrassing, but every person in the world goes through embarrassing shit. If you have one person on Instagram and you think to yourself they don't have a problem in the world, you're fucking tripping, bro.
You got to own it.
You got to wake up, bro.
Yeah.
So I've always been, I find it beautiful, bro. I always go against the grain. I don't know why, but I found it beautiful to speak as a man. And, like, it doesn't necessarily, like, sometimes I'll speak sadly on a topic, but it doesn't necessarily mean I'm sad. I analyze my emotions, but it doesn't necessarily mean I have to feel that. I just know that, yo, that fucked me up. It was kind of bad. I'm not going to let it affect me, but you have to analyze what happens in your life and take the message from it, the lesson, the win, whatever it is, you know, and you can't be scared of what people are going to say.
You're a wise guy beyond your years, man. I'm really interested to see where you go and where you take it.
Bro, it's the mushrooms, I'm telling you. I'm telling you, they got me on some shit, bro. Like,
early
for real.
days,
Yeah.
Do you want to let people know how they can reach out to you if they want to canvas, if they want to work with you musically, or if they want to book you for a gig? How do they get onto you, man?
Social media would be the best. Plire3175 on Instagram. I got links to everything there, pretty much in my bio. To my Facebook. Hit me up. I'm always doing work, baby. I'm always out here working, so if you need anything done.
Yeah. And I think I know who you're going to say, but who do you want to shout out as we're wrapping it up, man? Who do you want to give props to that's helped you along your way? You're only 26, but, you know, on this journey so far.
First and foremost, shout out to my baby Savvy, RIP. She, even beyond life, my loyalty to my sister, bro, is the only reason that I'm here doing this shit. Like, she was my biggest fan. And if I don't come correct, we wouldn't be doing it right, you know? So shout out to my baby Savvy. Shout out to my moms, my girlfriend, my best mate. Just my primary circle, bro. Jace, Mr. Beathedz. We got some shit on the way, too. And by shit, I mean dope shit. We got some good shit coming.
And we're going to record some shit right now, man.
Yeah.
Some good shit.
Fuck yeah. Let's do it.
Plire, man, thanks for coming in. I appreciate it, dude. You're a very wise guy beyond your years, and I'd be super keen to get you to come back when you're a little bit further on this journey you're on, man.
Yeah, cool, man. I appreciate you having me, bro. It's been interesting. You hit me with a few questions. I was like, wow, bro, no one's ever asked me that before. But it's good. It's good to talk about it. I think reflecting on my life a little bit's definitely lifted the mood, bro.
Does it feel like it's been a good experience?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, it's good to be open about things and talk,
for sure.
You know what I mean? Could give people a different perspective of me too, because a lot of people just think I'm just a reckless cunt, you know, and I'm just out here on some bullshit, which I am, but for good reason. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plire, man, you're a good dude. I appreciate you being so open and honest. I'm really looking forward to hearing you rap right now. Thanks for coming in, man.
Yeah. Appreciate it, bro.
Cheers.
3,000 podcasts, baby.
3,000.